Hello, everybody, and welcome to Toonkind D&D at 12 FPS. This is How Do You Do, fellow plant? Hi, I'm Staria, and I'll be playing March Script, local boar baby, plant boy, the first plant of this FPS. And will my other player friend, incredible friend person, introduce themselves and their character?
Hi there, my name is Kermit the Frog, and today I will be playing Kermit
I'm
dressed
gonna
as
murder
a
you.
beautiful player. Unfortunately, I'm really sorry, I'm not actually Kermit. We couldn't actually get Kermit in. He's a really busy guy. He's got stuff to do, man. Like we tried to call him up, but he's completely booked until at least 2 years from now. So
F.
yeah, nah, sorry, you've just got me. Hi, I'm Dewp Kieran, DEWP. I'm going to be playing the only other plant that seems to be playing on this server, except for Miss Foam, but we don't talk about Miss Foam.
This phone is
I'm
cubed. She's cubed.
I'm going to be playing Soul today, and yeah, stuff is certainly going to happen.
Yeah, so I think we're gonna start off with March is trying to have a normal day. Um, I think he's just like gonna be walking down like the sidewalk, trying to vibe. Um, oh God, that was a
Um,
19. What was that?
don't worry about it. What's your passive perception, by the way?
16.
Yeah, don't worry about it.
Yep, okay.
Are you
Okay.
doing much?
Yep.
What's going on with March particularly in today? What are you out and about for?
I think this time he's not particularly out for any like necessary purpose. Like he doesn't have groceries or anything like that. He's just taking a walk to relax, just enjoy the air a bit. That was another roll. Oh no, that's still above it. March's passive. Uh,
Don't worry about it much. You're very distracted at the moment. Perhaps he's just
terrifying.
like,
Yes.
I mean, how's Hugh doing? Is Hugh doing okay right now, or is
Well,
after?
Hugh is definitely getting better, which is a first for a long, which is happening for the first time in a long while. But Hugh's condition is actually improving.
Oh yeah.
Um, if you're wondering why, what has been happening, what has Staria plotted, listen to In the Eye of the Storm and In the Eye of the Void. These two games are sure happened.
Yeah, they happened. Things happened. A lot of things happened, and this is after all that happened.
Yep.
And I was thinking, you can say no to this. I was thinking, Hugh is still kind of feeling a bit after, and is still feeling kind of down and just kind of blah. Maybe you're out trying to get Hugh some stuff, maybe to cheer him up. Perhaps you're just having to browse around trying to find something for him.
I would say that Hugh is still pretty tired. I fuck. What's the name of the element that we gave him? Magical overstrain.
Yeah.
Still pretty draining, even as he is not as he is recovering. So Marge does routinely like go get him like books and stuff
Ooh.
from the
Um.
library. That was a 10. I think that's a roll, but low enough that March can see.
Um. Yeah. So, March, you've just been having a nice stroll around, having a look around, just kind of clearing your head of everything that's been happening. It's been a lot. You've kind of got into your head a little bit, which is why you didn't notice the first two rolls. But this third one, yeah, you definitely noticed the sound of an overturning trash can, and you feel something touch the back of your head. Oh, oh, Staria, you're muted. Staria, you have muted, unless someone has probably. I don't know what has happened to Staria, but they have. Yes, okay.
Sorry,
That's
someone
okay.
walked into my room.
That's
Uh,
fine.
hi, yeah. So yeah, sorry, repeat that.
It's all right, dude. You're good. So basically, the first two rolls you were too distracted in your own head to really notice, but this last roll you definitely noticed something touching the back of your head and the sound of something clattering behind you.
Oh my god. Uh, March immediately like turns around, just like what?
uh, March, you turn around and you're met with something very green, um, and quite large, and this doesn't happen often to you, but it's taller than you.
Oh,
Um,
that's well, the last time March had a weird encounter, he also met someone taller than him, but that was only slightly taller than him, and also his dad, and he doesn't have time to unpack that. But that's something else, and I think March would just sort of look up.
And as you look up this length of green in front of you, you look up this long green. You can only sort of describe it as a thick stem, a stem that sort of goes up and up and up. And looking down at you is a giant sunflower head, um, with a fingery, rooty, clawy hand outreached towards where you were, uh, frozen in place currently. It has a large green horse-shaped body, very round, and a lovely little bud for a tail.
Round,
Round, Roubnd, round. Um, and
round.
they are shape,
They are
and
shaped.
they are shape. They are big shape. They are big plant shape, and they look down at you, and you see it's frozen in position, and you remember you felt something touch the back of your head. You can only surmise that this is the thing that has touched the back of your head.
March, you just like dot dot dot. Can I help you?
Um, don't get a response. The thing is still frozen. The head, face. You don't quite know. This thing hasn't got any eyes or detectable like mouths or anything. It's just like looking at a flower. Um, the face looks at you, then it looks back at your head. And do you want to roll a quick perception for me?
Yeah. Also, I'm gonna say, but March, after saying, "Can I help you?" March will. Oh, that was a 23. March,
Oh,
will just sort of take a step back because personal space.
cool. I got a dirty 20, and you got a 23. So this actually makes sense because they were very very subtle about this. But March, you have sharp eyes, and something reaching for you from behind obviously gets you alert. So you turn around, and obviously, you see this thing very slowly start to reach again towards your head, um, specifically towards one of the flowers on your head. And yeah, with a 23, I would say you'd step back away from that reach.
And
As this
March,
thing,
March just like multiple question marks. Just like, do you need something? Or why are you reaching at my head?
um, it pauses its little rooty hand next to your head, and it looks back down at you. And it looks back at your head, but specifically a flower on your head, and then looks back down at you. And it's gonna keep reaching towards you. And
March is sort of gonna like bat
so
the
sorry.
hand away or whatever it's trying to what the bat the hand away. Just like stop that.
Okay, you got to back the hand away, and as you do, it just kind of like the hand just kind of like flops to the side, and the flower looks at the hand that you just batted away. And it slowly turns to look back towards you. Then it rears up And I'm just gonna roll something.
Oh
It's
god.
probably gonna. Okay, that was an intimidation of 18.
Oh goodness.
This thing's pretty damn tall as it rears up. Um, yeah, you see this thing is just very slowly starting to straighten itself out, and it's very tall.
Damn.
Oh,
Okay.
oh
That's
no.
that's in well, that's definitely not enough for
Oh no.
because that was a performance roll to see if March fakes like if Mark can fake it, but March is just like growing more alarmed and just like another step back.
Oh, March, buddy. As you step back, this thing is going to step forward towards you, and it's going to bring its hand down, and it's going to bring its hand down. What do you do?
Make a dex save.
Me? Okay.
Me, I make a dex save.
You? Okay, sure. Um, this is going to be an. I'm going to say this is going to be an unarmed strike, but man, oh gosh, I know what's
Wait,
going on. Oh, so that's just my dex.
I keep I keep forgetting the things.
Armed
7.
strikes are just your
Wow,
strength mod,
March
isn't it?
is doing
Oh,
bad. So that
oh
was an
god.
11 plus a dex save.
Oh, March. Unarmed strikes are your strength mod plus just a d20, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's a dirty 20.
That yeah,
Holy hell.
makes it
So, hey,
makes it beats it.
cool. So March, you see this thing rear back and bring its hand down, and you flinch away, but don't feel anything impacting you. You feel something very gently tap your hand. um, just very quickly tap your hand.
Oh, it's like
I was just giving you a high five.
just so many question marks. Just what is this? Who is this? What is happening? What?
um, as this thing has done that, Soul's gonna look at you. They're just gonna tilt their head to the side, and they're gonna hold their rooty hand back out again. A very clear position of high five.
Marge just sort of looks at the hand, looks at his own hand, and then just slowly move to also high five.
Yay! As you do so, and you do that slow clap of a high five, this thing is just gonna very gently like curl the roots of its fingers over your hand, and it's gonna tip your hand from side to side. Um, just like a really cute sort of side to side tippage as it looks at you, and its head is also going to go from side to side to side to side. The little pedals on its head swishing, and it's gonna let me see. It's going to loom back over you and slowly reach its head down towards you.
March is just like March has like is sort of questioning whether this plant thing is it nice? Is it what? Huh? What? So I don't think March is gonna do anything. It's just gonna stand
Oh,
there in anticipation because he
so
doesn't know
much.
what's happening.
So much. Buddy, I'm so sorry. It's not going to get any easier from here. Basically, this thing rears back again, still holding on to your hand. It's not pulling you forward. It's just holding your hand very softly and still swishing it from side to side. It rears its neck back and it very slowly lowers its head, its big old sunflower head, onto the top of your head, face first, and it's just going to slowly like rub against the top of your head.
March is just standing here, man. March is just standing here, man.
You're just being randomly touched by this very large plant creature.
Yeah, very large plant creature. And plant horse just March is just alright. Can I help you?
That it's gonna lift its head up. It's gonna pop its head up very quickly. Let go of your hand very quickly. Pop that down on the ground and look at you. And wait, let me see. Give me a second. I need to check something. I need to check something. Where are you? Should have had this prepped up a bit more, I think, but I didn't think of that. You're not going to do that. Where are you? Where are you? Sorry, I'm checking spells. There's a thing that I wanted to do.
That doesn't fill me with fear at all.
Don't worry. Don't worry. It'll be fine. Where are you? Where are you? Where are you? Checking the spell list, checking the spell list, checking the spell list. Hang, where is everything? Okay. Bitch. Cool. So what's gonna happen is, you're gonna see this thing sort of sit back a little, on its rear legs. You're gonna see it reach one of its rooty feet up, tap itself in the middle of its sunflower head. And would you like to roll me a dex save, please?
Lovely. Well, since it's a dex save, March gets advantage. That's a 13.
You?
That's a 10. 13. Does a 13 make it?
Give me a second, I have to roll. So that is a d20 plus 3. Sorry, give me a second. I've got to figure out something.
If I needed to make a dex save, wouldn't that just be against your DC?
I was gonna roll a I was gonna roll a competitive dex check against you.
Oh goodness. That's a D4. What does that do?
It's my guidance. Hang it. Okay. March. That was an 11, sadly. So March, with your 13, you do manage to get out of the way as this thing very suddenly swoops itself down and tries to stick its neck between your legs and flick you to its back.
Oh my goodness. I want to say, for hilarity's sake, but March fails this.
You want to fail?
Yeah, I want to fail.
Hey, cool. Fail then.
We need hilarity. Fail then. That's like the same energy as like then perish. Fail then.
Congratulations. You are now on the back of this giant thing. You are facing the back of it because it's gone between your legs and just sort of thumped you onto the back. And do you want to roll me one more thing? Let me see. Roll me a strength save if you wouldn't mind.
Strength save. That's a fun one. Okay, that's.
I know about your mods.
I mean, March is rolling shit today, but.
Yeah, I don't know what the hell's going on. Soul's been rolling pretty decently. Yeah, okay, with that 14. So, you don't fall off of this giant plant creature as it rears back and then bolts forwards at great speed. I
want to say that's because March had a bit of time to position himself and move, and so he's facing the right way, and then hold on.
Yeah, basically just before this thing reared up and bolted, you did have enough time to just kind of like swivel yourself around, and yeah, nah, gone, boom, off we go. And let me roll. I need to roll some more things for me now. Give me a second. I need to roll acrobatics. 20, lovely. Thank you very much.
Oh god.
Cool. So that was an at 20 for my acrobatics. Hey, March, this thing is running straight towards a building. Not just straight towards a building. You see this thing kind of turn. You see this thing turn towards the side of a building you've walked past earlier. It's just like a plain brick building. It goes up. There is, in fact, like a little metal fire escape kind of thing. This thing is not going towards the fire escape. It's heading towards the wall. And gosh, man, it is running at full speed at this thing. And
It just fucking climbing, huh?
it just goes. It's like it's not even that there's a sudden shift to climb. It's like it's more so that the actual, if you're imagining this as a frame on a camera, it's more so this thing runs straight towards it, and instead of it going upwards, the camera frame turns to the side, and it's running along the wall. The wall is now basically on the bottom view of the camera if we're viewing it this way, and it's just as if it's running up the wall right now.
Oh my god.
No climbing needed because the camera shifted so that it didn't need to climb. It's just going up the wall.
Yep, that makes perfect sense.
So
Definitely.
yeah, this thing's just taking you up the wall, and with a wonderful leap and a flourish, you end up on the top. It climbs over, and you are on a rooftop. If you want to make any rolls here, you can. I'm just going to roll something quickly to see.
What would March roll?
No. Okay, cool.
I think March is just gonna roll perception just to see where the fuck this plant thing is taking him. That's a 12. Jeepers.
Okay.
March is having a not good day.
March, man, too much has happened for you to have a direct direction of where the heck this thing is going. You know it's heading towards it's heading towards a residential area. You might as this thing keeps going, I would like to say this thing is jumping from rooftop to rooftop. It is not stopping. It has not slowed down since it reached the rooftop. It has just kept going. And as it does, you notice that, yeah, you're getting away from the shopping districts and stuff, and you're getting more into like the residential districts of Toontown. There's like a slow phasing between the shops, like the big department store shops and the little shops, and then the shops with like the little flats above them where people live, or usually where the shopkeepers live, and then just to plain old houses, and then to just like plain old apartment complexes. And Soul is taking you to eventually you do realise Soul is taking you to an apartment complex, and it is quite a bit taller than the flat you're on now. What you're on now is just like will eventually kind of just sort of skids a little to a stop at the end of this 2-story house. And if you're to look up, it's this is like a 6 or 5-story tall flat building, or apartment building complex. It's pretty damn tall. And
yeah, Marge are just like, I'm probably not gonna get an answer, but where are you taking me?
The head doesn't turn to the side; it turns kind of upside down to look at you, over its back. Then you see it raise a front leg and point straight to the top of the flats.
Well, this is encouraging. At least you have a destination. Now the next question is why.
The head just kind of nods upside down at you, very very quickly. Flower petals just going as it does. And gotta make another roll because, oh boy, let's see how well you climb up this one, baby. You're gonna see it once again. Oh no, that's a check. I can't do it on that. Never mind. Another acrobatics. Come on, honey.
Ooh.
Oh, honey. Oh, honey.
Oh boy.
Oh dear. So what happens is, that was another acrobatics. That was a lovely 6. What happens is this thing jumps off the side of this of the roof. This roof is actually kind of bordering the side of this apartment complex. It's a weird kind of cut between just like normal houses, and then suddenly there's this very big, flat apartment building. Others tried to jump from the rooftop here. It's like a slanted down. It's like a typical a typical triangle rooftop. It's not like a flat surface, so they're on the bottom edge of it. They jump off and they try very hard to do what they did before, because it worked before, it should work now. I mean, the camera changed for them going up the building, it should change now, it does not. And they just kind of, they don't try to grip, they just kind of stick their feet to the side of the building, expecting it to just camera to tilt and then to be able to run up. And nothing happens. And you're both just kind of suspended there for a second. And Soul just slowly looks down, over their shoulder, down at the ground, and are 2 stories up. You are 2 stories up.
Can I try to roll for something?
Yes, you can roll for something. You can roll me a very quick perception as you guys start to oh, okay. Oh, you're doing your own thing. Okay, cool.
Yeah, that was athletics. I want March to like grab onto the building and try to grab Soul in another hand.
Nice. With that athletics, I will say, luckily, the direction that Soul decided to jump at this building, there are actually windows, like window ledges and sills, a couple balconies as well. So Soul has basically not aimed for any of those and gone straight towards the wall. But you, clever March, you have actually decided, you know what, let's use these inbuilt stepping stones up the side of this building to get to the top. And you reach out and you grab that. Quick question, are you taking Soul with you?
Well, the only other option is to let Soul fall, so yeah, he's gonna take Soul with him.
Roll me a strength check, please, because this thing is very large.
Can I argue for a save?
A save?
A strength save.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, this is an FPS.
18.
18. Alright, cool.
March can lift up Marigold. March can lift up Saul.
March can lift it all. March has 4 arms. They can carry the gosh dang team if they want, and they will carry this giant plant up the side of the gosh dang building. And that's what happens. Please, if you want to flavor this, how do you carry Soul up the side? If you want, you can keep that acrobatics roll for getting up the side of this building.
Well, March is using 2 hands to grab onto Soul and make sure they don't either fall or fucking wriggle and fall or just do something stupid, because March doesn't trust this plant to not do anything stupid, considering the fact that it has just thrown itself onto the wall and then slid right off.
It's a valid concern.
And he's gonna use his other 2 hands, which are free, to actually climb. He's gonna get them to like the rooftop or something, and then put Saul away, and then worry about the consequences of what come with getting to the intended location.
A secondary location. Wonderful. I'm sorry, as I just imagine as you're climbing up the side of this, you know those lift things they put under the side of horses and cows to carry them up and out of ditches and things?
Mm-hmm.
I just imagine as you're climbing up, it's just 2 of your hands hanging down from under you, and Soul's just sort of hanging there, their limbs just drooping down, their head looking up at you as you climb up. It's just, I'm trying to find a picture.
Oh my god.
It's just them sort of dangling, slightly swaying side to side in your hands as you climb up. There are no pictures of the horse in a sling. That is sad. Guys, come on. Where are you? Gimme. you're here. But yeah, basically, whilst I'm looking for this, basically you get to the rooftop and roll me another perception, please, because
Okay.
yeah.
March getting decent rolls now.
Let's see. Oh, nice, 16. Cool. Yeah, you get to the rooftop, and immediately you notice there's a lot of like along the borders of this rooftop. There's a lot of greenery. There's a lot of long benches, not benches, along the flower pots, and sorry, I'm just gonna post in the gallery the image I found. Basically,
Oh
there's a
my
lot of like
god.
flower that essentially, yeah. But yeah, there's a lot of like flower pots and long planters.
March is
Full
just
of
internally just like, okay, I guess this is where the this plant creature came from. Okay.
Yep. That's not all you see. Obviously there is like a fire door that leads out onto the roof. And you look at it, there's nothing really special about it. It's not locked or anything. In fact, it's actually slightly ajar. It seems to be propped open with like a little brick. And these planters around, there's full of like tomatoes and potatoes and a couple of flowers. It's mostly like flowering kind of plants. Not a lot of edible plants like tomatoes and potatoes, but they're all there.
Hmm.
The big thing you do notice is there is a greenhouse, a very large greenhouse, just sitting center stage in this
Hmm.
on the top of this rooftop.
Is there anyone on this rooftop, or is just plants and more plants?
With a 16, there is no one here at the moment. Um, you can kind of see there is on the side of the building, not the side you've come from, but like on the left hand side, or at least to the left of you. There appears to be like the lifts that window cleaners use on the side of skyscrapers.
Hmm.
Um, there appears to be one of those on the side. And
Okay.
yeah, that's what you get. So someone comes up here apparently because it goes all the way up to the roof. But there's no one up here at the moment.
Well, first of all, March is just standing here. Uh, March is just like looks over to Saul. Are they okay?
You look over to Sol, and Sol is perfectly fine. Their feet are now touching the ground. They are looking. They're walking back towards the edge, and they're craning the neck down. And you can roll a quick insight here if you'd like.
Okay. That's a 15.
It's not exactly subtle. You see them look down at the side of this building, and you see them kind of just sort of tense up a little, and the bud on their tail starts to wriggle. Um, it's it's not the same kind of wriggle like when dogs wag their tails. This is sort of like a buzzing bee kind of wriggle, and with that insight, you can kind of tell Soul is a bit put out by the fact that they couldn't climb the side of this building. They're just like the head, the flower petals on their head just slightly drooped as they look down towards the side of this building. Um, uh, yeah, that's what you get. They're just annoyed, a little annoyed. They couldn't climb the side of it. Um, Look, they are petty and pouting. Let them. They
I
wanted to climb
think
the building and couldn't climb the
I
building.
think March would just sort of like try to casually just like walk over, like give them a little pat on the shoulder. It's like there, it's okay. We all have our March is just like it's we all have our off days. Just make sure to be more careful next time.
Um, you pat their shoulder. The petals on their head boink boink up. Their head points up. They turn their head towards you, and very quickly they lift one of their legs off of the ground, and they tap you on the shoulder twice, very quickly, before putting their hand, root, claw thing, leg on your shoulder, and they start like nudging you towards the greenhouse.
March, like at the like tap tap, March just sort of like mutters himself. Well, plant thing see, plant thing do, and
You get ahead.
March like looks over at the plant house. March is just like, well, there's something this plant thing wants him to see, so he might as well approach, but approach casually, cause I'm gonna roll stealth.
Cool, go ahead.
March is just like, there is a reason why that's a 21. Nice, March is fucking gone.
Cool. March, you approach this greenhouse with greatest of caution. You make no noise as you step across this rooftop, which is quite impressive considering there's a few bits of like gravel scattered around and like loose clumps of dirt and such that it's very clear that like someone works up here as you move across towards the entrance of the greenhouse. And the greenhouse does have a door, but it's quite it looks like it's pinned, it opens inwards and it looks like it's latched on a metal frame that makes up the greenhouse. It's just made of like glass and metal, and the actual lock is latched onto the side of the frame. And you go in, and you want to make another perception for me?
Sure.
Let me see if I need to make another roll here, don't I? Yes, I do.
20, that's a nat 20, baby!
Damn! March sees all. Okay, March. Not only do you see that I'll start with the door. Not only do you see that the door is sort of locked in place in an open position, you see that there's actually a bit of rust around the metal and the lock. And from that, you can kind of imply that this door does not often get closed. You think it's been open for a very long time. Mm-hmm. And with that perception as well, you come in and there are so many different kinds of flowers. It's like you stepped from being on a rooftop in an urban environment into almost like a woodland. There are a load of vines creeping up the side of this greenhouse. There is a lot of greenery in here. There are a few small trees, lemon and limes. There are a few like other little weird citrusy fruits around as well. There's a lot of flowers. There are a lot of flowers. There's a few other like little like again potatoes, tomatoes, a few peppers. Some nuts, weirdly as well, like tiny little like nut shrubs. There's blackberry bushes, there's blueberries, there's all sorts of food produce up here, like a lot. Any kind of food you think that would grow on any kind of food that you could think grow on a plant is probably up here. Alongside a junk ton of flowers, and you can roll nature or arcana for me if you'd like.
Yeah, this is reminding March a lot of Aroma's Garden. If you don't know who Aroma is, watch the March games or just Garden of Secrets / Garden Wonders.
That's propaganda. Cool. 19.
I can put propaganda for my games as a treat.
You should.
That was Arcana.
Arcana, cool. Okay, so you look around and yeah, there's you're surprised. There is magic here, but there's not as much as you would have thought with the amount of luscious growth. Like there are a few plants here that are definitely magic, because you look at some of the plants in here, and with the climate that Toontown is like, admittedly it's a Toontown, like it's Inkwell, and weather is weird here, and so is climate, and sometimes plants can defy what they really should be doing in certain environments or how they should be growing, because this is Toon logic, it doesn't apply. But there are actually some plants here that are real kind plants, and they are hooked. They look like there's definitely some magic coming from some of these things. There are some of these things that are not normal plants. Like you see some lilies, see like a few white and red lilies tucked away to your left, and there is definitely a feeling of magic coming from them. There are lots of daffodils.
Once again, another point to this looks like a Roma's garden. I still don't know if it should be alarming or comforting. Well, it's not as magical as a Roma's garden. That's a point March takes because Aroma's garden is saturated with magic.
Yeah, Aroma's garden is just so much magic. There's definitely not as much magic there. There's a little bit in here, but
Yeah.
definitely
It's
not
still
as much.
interesting because that's very similar.
Hmm. Yeah, basically there's like a bunch of different flowers in here. Most of them aren't magical, but some of them. There's like the corner that has the lilies in it. It's like tucked away in the back leftmost corner. There, I forgot to say earlier, but there are rows. It's sorted like a normal greenhouse, or if you've ever been to like a garden centre, they've got all the plants sectioned in like different rows and pots and tables, depending on if what kind of plant they are or what kind of temperature they need. It's kind of set up like that. Except there's just one corner in the very far back left that has that's basically Magic Central. There is also a weird sort of, you can kind of feel the vines and the plants going up the sides of this greenhouse. You can kind of feel that there's some magic in them as well. And there are a few weird, like, yellow flowers sort of popping up and down the bottom and the sides of this greenhouse that also have a bit of magic in them. But yeah, the back left corner is where most of the magic's coming from. Other than that,
Interesting.
it's just a normal, big, huge greenhouse on the roof. And
Is there anyone in this big giant greenhouse on the roof?
there is no one inside of the giant green greenhouse on the roof. Also, with that perception from earlier, you will have noticed. Perhaps you were like, turn around to check if Soul is behind you. Soul is not there anymore.
Oh, lovely. Okay.
And you did, as you turn around, you do hear a clatter. And I'm just gonna roll something here because I need to see if they can do this. But yeah, is there anything in here you want to check out while I'm making a few rolls?
I think March is. Oh, that was a low roll. I think March is definitely curious at the magical plants, so he's gonna casually approach those. Not in within touching distance, but just you know what? He is going to cast detect magic
Ooh.
because he can do that.
You want to read out the description of that for me, just so I know what I can give you?
Yep, let me get that real quick. Where where is it? Okay. For the duration, you sense the presence of magic within 30 feet of you. If you sense magic this way, you can use your action to see a faint aura around any visible creature or object in the area bearing magic, and then learn its school of magic, or if any. The spell move blah blah blah. Okay, yeah.
Cool. Okay. Um. So yeah, you go to that corner, you cast detect magic. Definitely, definitely magic in that corner. Also, with that detect magic, you suspected earlier about the vines and flowers being confirmed. The vines crawling around the greenhouse walls and the yellow flowers, they seem to be some sort of pseudo enchantment sort of conjuration, but not quite. There's quite a few mishmashes of magic in the vines and the what you call them, the yellow flowers here, and you can tell from that this seems to be some sort of like alarm system this is setting up.
Mm-hmm.
As for the stuff in the corner, there is lots of different kinds of magics. There's conjuration, there's illusion, there's quite a few enchanted ones here. But for the most part, it seems to be mostly transmutation, or at least some form. It's not quite transmutation, because they don't. It doesn't seem like a spell's being cast on them. It's more that they've been grown with, not quite with a spell, but they've been grown with magical intent locked in them.
Mm-hmm.
They have magical potential more so that they are magic. They are magic in themselves, but it's more like they are just magic in of themselves rather than that they have a specific magical type. If that makes sense.
Yeah, March is definitely not messing with those. He knows better than to fuck around with magical plants. Looks at the flower cataloging FPS, aka Seeker fucks around, finds out.
Oh gosh.
Oh, that was a nat 20
Hey,
for something.
that was a stealth roll. Hey, March, something is tickling your foot.
Something is what?
Something is tickling your foot. You feel something touch your foot.
March does the Ghibli whole outline shiver. I wonder who you got that from. And sort of like turns around slowly.
Uh, Vines that were both along the walls of this greenhouse and along the floor of this greenhouse, which I forgot to mention. The floor isn't actually touching the floor of like the cement roof of this rooftop. It is coated in thick layers of like mud and dirt and moss, so it's like a soft carpet kind of feeling. And there were also vines crawling across the floor. These vines are moving now, and the thing that just touched your leg, you look down, there is a yellow flower looking up at you, and it has two little beady eyes. And I won't make you mold nature, I'll just give this to you. It's a daffodil, and it looks up at you, and you hear it go. It's just kind of tilting its head at you.
March is just staring back. What the fuck is that?
Um, see the petals of its head just kind of shiver and shake, and then you see weird, uh, like the little pollen parts. I forgot what they're called. I think they're called stamen or some such. But like the little stemmy bits that come out of the front part of the plants that pollinates them. You see two of those kind of flick out like a snake tongue at you, and it's just kind of going as it's looking at you.
Alright, I'm not messing with that. And March is gonna he's gonna try not to step on anything, but he's gonna try and step away.
Okay. Good news. It's not gonna stop you. Bad news. It is following you. And as you look around, hey March, there's more of them. There's not just one. There are many of these things, kind of just sort of slicking across the floor. As the vines move, you see on them little flashes of yellow, and you hear more growing in chorus, and it's getting quite loud.
Yeah, March is now just like March. Uh, I'm assuming Soul is still gone, right?
Uh, they are. They are for the
Okay.
moment, yes.
Yeah, March is just like I don't know what's happening. I am walking away. If this plant friend thing wants me again, they obviously know how to find me. Goodbye. He's just starting to speed walk out of this greenhouse.
Walking fast, walking faster, walking faster.
Yep.
Yeah, they're not stopping you. The vines that look like they might have tripped you on your way out, they do kind of scooch out of your way. Unfortunately, as you're walking out, you do hear a noise of many things kind of overlapping behind you, and you hear the growing hissing of something following you behind you. And I gotta roll another thing now. Let me
Great,
just.
good, great, okay. Depending on what's happening, March might just fucking jump.
Let me see. Where ye be? Where ye be? There ye be. Bum, bum, bum. Oh, that's good. Let me roll another thing here.
Oh boy. That's a low roll. I don't know whether that's good or bad.
Fine.
16.
Alright, cool. March, as you walk towards the doorway, another figure has, actually, you know what? Roll me a quick perception, if you wouldn't mind.
Cool, 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 cool. 25.
Okay, you notice this. You notice immediately. As you turn around to leave, you did hear. As you turn around, you hear a thunk come from outside, like a rattle, clatter, 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 clatter coming up the side of the building. The side which you kind of remember there was a lift to lift access to the side, and you hear a as
Rolling.
okay.
Rolling stealth. Rolling stealth. That's a 27.
Okay. Cool. 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 And you hear muffled. Actually, with 27, I'm gonna say There are actually like Not everything's on the floor here. There are actually like shelves and units and such where some plants are stationed for the best strategic sunlight. There are some low tables and like bags of mulch and things. Um, if, what would March do? Would they? How would March hide? Do you think?
Okay,
Or would you
so
like
I
me?
think at this point, like, there's a lot of like, are there like bushes and like big bushes?
There's lots of all kinds of plants, man. It's like a park but on the roof.
Yeah,
There are
I think
many
at
different
this point
bushes.
March is just like crouching on like I would say all four, but he has four hands, so all six, whatever. And he's like trying to like sort of like crawl in a way, but no one can see him, but he'll be able to like perceive slash run away if needed.
That's fair. I'm gonna say, for the sake of just for the sake of flavour, you've decided to duck yourself into a strawberry bush. Um, Actually, no, strawberries don't grow in bushes. It's a raspberry bush. Never mind me. Yeah, you duck into a raspberry bush, and you do hear off the clatter crank the sound of something coming up the side of the building, and you hear the. Actually, I should probably roll for that. Give me a moment. I don't think he doesn't have. Man, how did I build you? Oh, yeah, it's clear as day. You hear him coming. Uh, you hear the unsubtle crunch of something rolling across the rooftop, and the of something heavy also being dragged across the rooftop. And you hear someone say, "So I don't have time for you mucking around. Could you just? I don't have. I'm in the middle of something, and I know you want to play. I know you've been bored recently, but you can't just drag me away from a very sensitive, time-tentative subject just so you can get a bit of attention." And you hear, and coming through the doorway, you do see, first of all, you see a chair, or at least the wheels of a chair coming through, and then you see a blanket which is dark brown with like an Afghan kind of blanket, dark brown with red and brown and subtle dark green stripes in it. It's very faded, very old. Um, and you see a lovely wooden chair, and sitting in this chair is kind of, you think they're UPAan. You can roll perception on this if you want. You don't have to. But you see a bird sitting in a wheelchair, looking around.
You can fucking bet I'm rolling perception.
Cool, 18. Sweet, sweet, sweet. Yeah. So you see this bird enter the front of this greenhouse, and you also see like the things on the floor, the daffodils and the vines. They were actually kind of heading towards you, but they stop as soon as this person shows up, and with a you hear them slither frantically towards the doorway, and you see these vines kind of loop up the sides of this chair, and the many yellow heads of these daffodils kind of just butt the head of this toon. And this toon is a bird. He has a black outline. He doesn't have any detailing. He's got 3 curls on top of his head, and you can't quite tell what kind of a bird he is. He's just generically a bird. From the looks of him, he does look UPAan, but something about the way that his line art kind of bends implies that maybe he's not UPAan. You think perhaps he might be a house and toon? And
Interesting.
you also, sorry?
Interesting.
Yeah, and you see these vine plants coming up, the daffodils swarming over this guy, and you just hear, all right, get down, all of you. Yes, I know, I'm bringing it now. Yes, I've got everything. Would you just get down? And you just see these happy wriggling things. You don't have to roll insight. They are all very happy to see this guy, and you do hear more as up from behind him, Sol appears with 2 very big bags of mulch, or like burlap sacks, and I need to roll something here. Give me a second. That's just gonna be a straight dex for you, isn't it, buddy? Yeah, you know it is. Okay. Oh, how well do you do? Oh, cool. Yeah,
Pretty
Sol
good.
comes in. So they are carrying 2 burlap sacks on their back, and balanced perfectly on the top of their head is a very large bucket of water. I mean, you've seen like metal buckets, like those classical metal buckets of water. This thing it probably comes up to your hip. That's how deep this thing is, and Sol's just holding it on the top of their head, just bouncing it there as if it's nothing. And Toon in the wheelchair laughs and he says, all right, yes, I'm up here now, Sol. Would you mind showing me what it is that I'm supposed to be looking at, other than obviously my everyone? And as he says everyone, that perception, you kind of feel a rustle go through the whole room. And I should probably roll perception for now. Actually, with that, I'm not be able to find you with that stealth. Don't worry, don't even. So yeah, he just kind of looks around the room.
Well, if you get a nat 20.
Give it a go. Oh,
Nope. You need 10 more.
10 more! Just 10 more.
Just 10. 10 more.
10, it's easy. 10.
Easy, just 10.
Yeah, just add 10 more. He'll be fine. He looks around the room, and I will say with that 17, he might notice signs of disturbance. He may notice, because this flooring is moss and dirt, you probably kind of left a few footprints in here.
Yeah,
mate.
Mart definitely did. Only when he actually started to be stealthy, he actually started paying mind to his footprints.
When you stealth, obviously, that's when the footprints disappear. Now, this is Lao Vis Blind, for people that don't know. My other character, who typically tends to accompany Sol and deal with their shenanigans, he looks around and he does notice signs of someone else having been here. He turns back towards Sol and says, Soul, Soul, has someone been here? And from your position, you see. Actually, I've got to roll with save. Oh my gosh. Yes, I have to roll with save. Come now.
Oh
Where are
my
you at?
god.
Oh, your with save is actually decent. I keep forgetting that I have decent modifiers on their saves. Okay, cool. Soul does not nod their head with the giant bucket on it.
Oh my
They
god.
almost seem like they're going to, and they stop just as their head starts moving. You hear like a whoop of the water sloshing in the bucket. They stop, and then they just very slowly lift up their rooty hands and give a thumbs up. Now just, all right, okay. So someone's been in here. How did they get in here? Did you bring them here, Soul? Goodness gracious. All right, fine. If you put everything down, see to everyone, and I'll see if I can sort this out. Do you know if they're still here? And he's gonna roll in and have a look around. He's not.
I can roll another stealth.
You can if you want. So yeah, Lao is gonna do that.
That time, I'm gonna say, meets it beats it. Lao, you definitely like see a plant but doesn't belong there.
I just want to say, because I said you hid in a raspberry bush, I just want to say, perhaps he looks over, he's just kind of going down the aisles, checking everything over, being very meticulous, following the prints, seeing they've stopped near the magical, seeing he stopped near the magical plants and just kind of narrows his eyes. And he looks over towards the bushes, follows them, uh, follows around, goes over and over and over, combs through, and then he stops by the raspberry bush. And raspberries do not have they don't have a big white head in there, do they?
Nope.
Typically,
And they definitely
raspberries,
don't have white flowers.
they also they also don't tend to grow in long red strips, kind of like a scarf.
God.
It's not typically how they're supposed to grow. Oh, man, I would say that red strip probably helped earlier with you blending in initially, but now that he's up close, it's so obvious. These are not raspberries. That is not a raspberry. And there is something in this bush, and he's going to clear his throat, and he's going to say, I know you're there. It would probably be best for you if you came out.
What do I roll to see if to see how caught up Marge got it in the bush?
Dex save.
Okay, dex save.
Oh, a dex against my raspberry bush. Can you dodge the raspberries, March?
Well, with a 22, I'd say he can.
Can indeed. I will, in fact, say with a 22, not only do you dodge the raspberries, you manage as you're crawling through. If you like, you can just kind of pop a few in their mouth because they do look quite ripe.
Well, March isn't one to steal from others, so he's not gonna take any. But he is just sort of uh, like stands up and that's a very tall tune. That's a very tall flower tune.
Okay.
And he's just like, uh, sorry for shooting. I just this looks even worse than I thought.
I wrote something. Oh, yay!
Oh goodness, that's a low roll. That's an 8.
You stand up, and initially Lao kind of wheels himself back because, again, you are quite tall, and oh man, you are very tall. But as he looks up, and he looks at your head, and oh wait, you're a flower, and do you want to roll perception for me?
Sure. Staria rolls
I'm not.
perception. The game.
I'm sorry.
23.
Yeah, you notice this immediately. You see his eyes widen. His eyes are just like black circles with black circle pupil, pretty plain. You see his pupil dilate white like an owl's as he looks at you, and you hear a sort of noise come from him,
Oh my
and
god.
you see his hands very slowly raise trembling from the sides of his wheelchair where they were on the wheels, and he claps them over his beak, and uh, it's pretty damn obvious. He's like, oh my word, oh my stars, as he looks at you. Like, wow, wow, basically.
March is March is just like is this because of the fact that he's a plant, or is this because of,
Oh,
March's
intelligence!
popularity as an actor?
What would you guess? What would you think? Because what is March used to? March is used to people being in awe of him because he's a celebrity actor. You
Yeah.
can roll for it if you want.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Not gonna
roll
stop you.
insight.
Please.
That's a 16.
16, right? So I will say your first thought does initially go to acting because that's what you're known for, man. You're in fucking Star Wars. You're an actor. You're an A-list celebrity. You look at this guy and oh, he's not looking at like he's not looking at you and like, oh wow, you're a movie star. He's looking specifically at the flowers on your head, and you recall, oh wait, Soul was also looking at the flowers on your head, and then they picked you up and they carried you here. And, oh, this isn't a case of being famous.
Yep.
This is not because you are famous. This is purely because you are a flower, my friend. And as you
God.
realize this, he's like,
God.
Flower looks at you, he says, oh good heavens, oh good heavens, and he's just like, oh hello, excuse me, I need to roll something here. Let me see if I can roll this. Where are you? Where's my stuff? Let's roll that. Cool. Cool. Now looks at you, and he looks at you with big wide eyes. And he clasps his hand, takes them off his beak, and he clasps them in front of him in the classical interlocked finger prayer pose. And he's like, "Oh, word! It's so good to meet you. Oh, hello. My name is Lao Vis Blind. It's unfortunate for me to meet you like this." And he holds his hand out, and it's vibrating. And with that insight, I will also say you can see his line art is wiggling a little bit.
Oh
It's
my
also
God.
got quite light and fluffy. Do you reach out and take his hand?
March is just like, question mark. Like, March is just like, huh. Oh, you know what? This is the kind of day you say, oh, this might as well happen. And yeah, March, March is fairly certain that if this is a trap, he can probably be fine. But it might as well. Yeah, sure. Why not? Why the fuck not? He takes the hand.
As you take hold of Lao's hand, so house and toons are made of clay typically, and they usually kind of feel like clay in some experiences. Obviously, with the aspect of them being a toon and magic and stuff. Lao doesn't feel like clay. Lao feels like a cloud given physical form right now. As you shake his hand, it is incredibly soft and light and warm, and as you shake, you can kind of feel a bit of that warmth as he pulls his hand away. You can feel a bit of that warmth kind of linger on your palm as he looks at you and he says, "Oh, good heavens! It's very good. It's very good to meet you. I'm apologies. My apologies. I haven't asked your name. Would you like some tea or some berries or anything? Let me see." And he's just kind of looking around, glancing quite frantically around, trying to find
Um,
something.
it's fine. My name's March Script.
Oh,
I
Script, what a wonderful name. Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, beautiful. And he claps his hands together and he looks towards Soul and says, Soul, no, don't put those over there. And Soul is probably just about to tip the bucket, basically upend it over the top of a floating flower in like a tiny tub of water. It looks like a fishbowl, but it's just got like a small little white lily in it. And Soul's just about to tip the whole gosh dang tub of water on the top of this thing. It's like, Lao, Soul, don't do that. Just stick to the plan. You know the plan. I've taught you how to do this. Now follow it through. And Soul is just going to very slowly get the bucket, their head at Lao, and shuffle their way through. And you just hear the scrape of a metal bucket against the floor, and the many sounds of like as the daffodils slither across the floor and sort of like gently playfully nip near the feet of Soul as they open up. Actually, I've got a roll strength here. How badly do you struggle? You do struggle. Okay, Soul struggles a little bit to open these burlap sacks because they are very, very well made and strong. And eventually do, but when they do, it kind of just sort of flings everywhere. And could you roll me a quick con save, please?
Con save, sure. That's a +7.
Nice.
That's a 22.
Oh, you're not immediately knocked out by the smell of bug compost. Congratulations. Because this stuff stinks. But somehow you hold your nerve, and not only do you hold your nerve, you hold your face. You don't react. As Lao is just babbling on again about, oh, but surely you want some tea or some water, or I mean, I know you're and he gestures to all of you. I don't know if you require would you like some of? And he's gonna. I'm gonna roll a whiz save here.
God,
because he's in full.
is Lao offering fucking compost?
He was going to initially, but that wasn't at 20. So he's just about to turn. He's like, no, don't be foolish. He's not an actual plant. He's a person plant. He's not a plant. And he turns around again. He's like, oh, please do come with me if you want. Come along. And he's just gonna wheel himself down the way towards the food section of his little greenhouse, and he's going to shout back to you, feel free to take any of the fruits or plants or foods or whatever you'd like. Just let me know what you want, and I'll see that it's properly taken care of for you. And he's just going to go along, whizzing along the aisles.
And March is just like fucking dial tone sound, and his brain just like okay, sure, sure, alright. I think now that there is an actual offer, March will take a couple of fruits and berries, not too much, but he's just like, these are good for baking, and also he might as well give some to his brother when he's back and tells him this wild story.
As you pass by, that was an intelligence check. As you pass by, you see Soul, having now ripped open the bag of mulch, instead of doing what people should be doing with the mulch, which is separating it out into proper portions and feeding the plants that need it, Soul has instead put loads of mulch into this bucket, which is quite large. Again, I said it is a very large bucket. And they're just dopping mulch into this bucket. And now I'm gonna roll perception for now. And then cool. And I'm gonna roll something for Soul. Man, if you're gonna beat this, but I just want to see how well you do this, buddy. How well do you do this? Getting that 20, I'm gonna scream.
19!
18. It's decent though. So with almost without a splash, you just hear the quiet, a very quiet sound of something slipping gently back into the water. You see Soul now slowly dip their roots, all four of them, one at a time, into this bucket that has now got a load of mulch in it. It's not nice clean water anymore. It's just dirty water with bog compost in it. And they're going to do some very gentle, careful circles, as you do, before doing a little body wiggle, looking back at you, March, and then just slowly lowering themselves into the bucket. And yeah, basically Soul has just kind of at-loafed themselves into this bucket.
March is just
Now
like
the soul mode's just staring at you, man. They're
March
vibing.
is like looking at this. It's like he's like he wants to ask something, but also is that rude?
I mean, as you look, you do hear continuing on. Lau's just still rambling. He's like, "Oh well, if you really want the raspberries are quite good at the moment. I've added a little something to the compost. Don't tell Cordelia. There's just a little something just to make them taste that just a little bit tartar. I prefer them tart. I rather like tart and bitter things. Sweetness isn't so much my thing." And he just keeps rolling forward, and he's like, roll hammer space for him. Cool. He just reaches under his blanket and he pulls out what looks like another big blanket, but it looks like a picnic blanket, like a classical, like red and white
It's like checker.
sort of blanket. Yeah, checkered blanket sort of thing. And he's just, as he's going along, he's just going along, absent-mindedly plucking berries from bushes, and then bending over the arm of the chair and just popping like tomatoes and spuds off of the vines. He's going up to the walls. He's plucking off some grapes as well. He's plucking up a load of snacks and like little natural treats and just popping them in this blanket. And he's just like, "Oh well, March, do tell me, why exactly are you here? How did you get here? Did Sol bring you here? They tend to bring visitors, especially if they are of interest." And he looks back at you with, actually, you know what? I don't know. I don't know.
Their name is Sol. Yeah, they kind of did pick me up and run here.
Oh dear. Goodness gracious. Did they not give you the card? Sol, did you? Oh yes, I took the card from them, didn't I? Don't worry. Yes, Sol has a bad habit of picking up interesting things, and he gives a very meaningful look over to Sol, who is still just plant loafing in the bucket, just
Just a loaf.
back,
Cooking a loaf.
unfazed. And whilst he's
Sol is
doing that,
content.
Sol is content. They have nutrients and they have water. They're content. But as Lao looks over and sees them in the bucket, Lao is gonna narrow his eyes, and he's gonna say, "Sol, that's not for you. You know that, don't you?" And Sol's just gonna look back, and Lao's gonna look back, and I am going to roll 2 sets of intimidation.
God. God.
Yeah, I thought as much. So you basically, March, I'm sorry, but you're witness to just a staring contest between this bird and this large plant. So eventually, flower petals and Sol's head just slightly wilt a little bit, and they hang their head down. And Lao rolls his eyes and says, "Oh, don't whinge, you ate earlier, and also those portions are not for you. Also, you had far too much coffee earlier. That's not going to be good for you. Get out." And Sol, very sulkily, stands up with a sploosh, gets out of the bucket, picks it back up again. And Lao's like, yes, I know, I'm so awful and mean and nasty, aren't I? Now go on, finish your chores, and then when you're done, we'll get you more things. You know what? You know what, Sol? I do have something a little special, you know that. And Sol's gonna pack up. He's like, yes, I managed to convince Carmina to get me some of your favourites. So if you do this, I'm going to give you a special treat. That's a nat 20. Persuasion. Sol immediately perks up. With a wriggle, you like March, you see the whole outline just wriggle, and you don't have to roll insight because that's a nat 20, it's very obvious. This is an excited wiggle, like, oh, this is good, and Sol picks up this bucket, and with a they zoom off around the greenhouse, and you're just gonna hear like clatterbangs and whistles and like weird croaking noises and like sort of noises just going around this greenhouse. As Al turns back to you and says, well, you see, they're a bit, well, like that as he gestures to the zooming creature going around this greenhouse and says, they're a bit like that. And, well, I do hope that this, and he rolls sleight of hand, because he is not really good at this. He has no modifier, lovely. Oh, that's decent though. So yeah, he ties a decent knot in this gathering of this berry and food gathering in his blanket. He ties it quite tightly, and he looks back towards you, March, and says, well, I hope this can make up for the inconvenience. And he is gonna roll strength because it is quite heavy. Okay. You're gonna see him look like he's struggling a bit to lift this, because that's a lot of, he's packed a lot of stuff in this. It's a very big blanket, and it's quite full, and he struggles to lift it. His outline shakes a bit, but he holds it out to you and says, I hope this makes up for the as he tilts his head towards Sol, once again zooming around. Yes, I hope this makes up for the that little incident, and I hope this doesn't put you off from visiting again, March. He just holds it out towards you.
It's fine. If March like, does Lao look like he would let March decline this gift?
Roll insight.
Sure, because I think March is about. Oh, that's 8.
March, you have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm sorry,
I think
bud. You see,
March.
he's very eager for you to take it.
Yeah, I think March would be like, he's about to argue and say no, it's fine, but then he's like, I don't think he would let me decline this, so I might just take it and save us both the trouble. And as he's looking at, March takes the big bag. I think for Brutal Footy, he's actually, well, I don't know. I'll roll just a straight strength check just to see. 20, yeah, dirty 20. March takes it with the greatest of ease, tucks it away into his hammer space, makes a mental note to make a pie or something out of that, and give Lao and Sol later. When he'll probably visit someday, after. And I think as he looks at Sol pouring the mulch, he's just like, well, at least this isn't like Lynn. No one, and he's just like, last time Lynn had fertilizer, she tried to put it on my shoes.
That Lao just kind of well, I suppose with being the whole, and he gestures once again up and down at you. Well, I suppose you being I presume you're a plant. I don't want to, but it seems rather obvious that you are. And he points to his own head to indicate your head.
You would be correct. Just what Lynn is now saying, but I need to grow. Since I'm a growing boy, I need fertilizer, and she would always, of course, she would always try to put my legs in a plant pot.
I gotta roll something here. Hang on a second. Let me see. MB and intelligence.
That's an N1. Oh no.
You see Lao cock his head, lifts a hand under the side of his beak, and just kind of scratch the side of his beak, and he's like, would you grow more if we put you in a pot? I mean, you're already quite impressive height. And he sort of leans back in his chair and looks up at you. He's like, maybe this Lynn.
No.
Considered. He's just.
Martin just like, no, I already had enough of Lynn.
I'm not saying it has to be permanent. I'm just saying if you wanted to grow your stature a bit more, this Lynn might have a point. An occasional foot soak in in mulch and water might be good for you. And he's
Okay, I wasn't gonna say this, but last time but when Lynn tried to do that, I punted her.
that he's just gonna kind of he was making his way over towards one of the sills where the tables are lined and underneath was tucked more mulch and stuff. And he's gonna reach on it and then he stops and he just slowly looks over at you. And I'm gonna roll insight because no, you're probably telling the truth, but Lao does not know if you're telling the truth.
17. March
Okay.
is telling the whole truth. He is definitely like running the memory, and you know that whoever this Lynn person is, it's not. It's like March cares about her, but also he's so exasperated with that whole potted it fucking try to plant him. So yeah, just just like no. It's like don't you dare. Hello? Dewp? No! We lost Dewp! Dewp! Dewp, beloved! Return to us!
Can you hear me now?
Yes!
I died.
You
Discord could
did!
not contain the sheer power of plant. It was just too much.
Too much plant.
Um, Last I heard was Lynn. You're fond of Lynn, but you were kind of starting to get fed up. That's the last I
Like,
heard.
not fed up, but like exasperated with that, and just like he's just like, no, don't you dare, don't you dare.
Oh, okay. Lau seeing this, he was reaching towards one of the mulch bags underneath the table and he stops and he slowly retracts his hands back and places them both in his lap as he looks over to you and says, Alright then, mulch isn't an option for you, that's fine, and obviously it's your body, your choice of what to do with it and how you want to grow as a person. And as he says this, you hear more clash, clatterbangs from behind you as Soul is running by, once again being chased by the small, little, snappy, noisy daffodils on the floor. And Lao just kind of gives them a quick glare and is like, oh, goodness gracious. Well, March, I shan't keep you any longer. I think perhaps, obviously, I would love to see you again. It's been wonderful having you here. And he lights up again, and his outline has gone from his outline did change briefly from light and wispy to straight line, but now it's gone straight back to light and wispy. And he looks at you and he says, "Well, March, I'm not going to make you come back. I can't make you come back. That's ridiculous. I don't do that. But if you would like to visit once more and say hello, I won't be opposed. Obviously, you're free to access the greenhouse whenever you like. If you'd like any assistance or help of any sort, I'd be more than happy to help. I am a cleric, so if you need it, I'm available." And as he's selling himself to you,
God.
once again, you hear the clash, clatter, bang, and for some reason you hear the sound of a monkey in the background, just like in the background. You don't know where that's come from. You don't know where the monkey is. Is Lynn up here? You don't know.
God.
But yeah, as he's finishing his pitch to you, he says, "Well, I understand if you need to make your way out," and he kind of rolls over towards the door and he does a. As he whistles, Soul stops the clash, clatterbangs, and appears from behind the shelves, kind of covered in dirt and stuff. And there are a few of the little vines with the daffodils clinging on to their sides, their neck, as they trot after you. And yeah, Lao's just like, Well, I shan't keep you any longer than you wish to stay. If you want to stay for tea, I'd be more than happy to have you. Obviously, well, I don't know how much food I've got in the pantry. I'd have to check. But I'd be more than happy to host you if you'd like to pop over. But yes, it's been wonderful meeting you, March. And he once again sticks his hand out quite nervously.
Well, March does stick his out to shake, and he does say, "Well, it has been lovely. Though I do think I should probably head back. I didn't actually mean to go out for that long, and my brother might get worried."
Oh no! Of course, of course, of course, of course. If the family comes first, I completely understand. And you can roll an insight there if you like. But he's going to keep going. He says, "I understand completely. Family comes first, and if you need to go, you need to go. I won't hold you back." With that 17, cool. That 17 insight, you see, as he says, "Family comes first," a kind of flicker comes across his face, like a furrowing of his brows, the eyebrows that he doesn't have. But there's like a kind of like a look, and you see his outline go from light and fluffy to it goes a bit weird. It's still soft, but instead of being fluffy, it's now a little smudged, and it raises up a little bit in a spike. So it's like the top part, as it raises it up, it's like a sharp point. But as it lowers back down into the body, it's smudged a little bit, and then it goes up again into a spike, and then down again into a smudge, and that's just all along the outside of his outline. Before he shakes his head very quickly, and his outline reverts back to just being normal, just normal. And he looks at you and says, "Yes. So if you need to leave, please feel free. You know where we are now, I believe. If not, I'm sure Sol." And he points to Sol as they come trotting up to the side of him. "I'm sure Sol can help you get here if you wanted or needed any extra food bits for home, or just if you wanted to learn something about flowers. I'm rather decent at it, as you can see." And with that insight, yeah, he's very proud of his garden and his his greenhouse. And he's like, "Yeah, yes, I shan't keep you if you'd like. Well, I'll escort you out." And he rolls out the doorway.
I think as Lao is talking about the his garden, Merch is just saying is just like, I noticed that there is some magical aspects to it. It's well, I don't know how to really put it, but I know a garden that's similar to that. Um,
As you say that, Al's gonna stop in his tracks as he's now actually outside the greenhouse, and you're probably still somewhere inside. He stops.
March is like following him.
Yeah, Sol's following behind you, March. And I'm gonna. I'll get to what that was in a second. And Lau kind of stops and just turns his head back over his shoulder to look at you quizzically, like, "You said there's somewhere similar to this, but more magical. Did you say?"
Yeah, over in Ghibli, near near the forest in Chihiro. I'm sure Aroma wouldn't mind visitors.
Okay. I have got to roll a few things. Give me a second. I'm gonna roll history to see if he knows where that is. 3, he knows where that is.
Nice.
Or at least in the general area. And then I've got to roll. Oh, yeah, I've got to roll that, haven't I? Because he's now doing that. Oh, gosh, it's so obvious. God damn it, Lau.
Good boy.
As you look, and as you see, as you've been talking to him, his pupils had started to shrink down. His outline had gone from like soft and wispy. It was starting to calm down. As you said that there was a magical place with many, many plants that he could go to, and you're sure that Aroma wouldn't mind him visiting. His outline has gone back to being incredibly wispy, and his eyes have blown back out again. Not quite as big as when he first met you, but they are now very large again. And he looks at you and he's like, "Ooh, are you certain about that?" And I wouldn't want to impose on someone I wouldn't know, but obviously the chance to study more plants is always good. And that was a deception to try and hide his excitement.
Oh my
It
god.
fails. It fails. Congratulations, you have given him, like, you can see his hands, like his fingers are now sitting in his lap. They're shaking a little, but you can kind of see them twitch as well. I'll also say that roll earlier, that was a sleight of hand at a lovely 5. You immediately notice something has been slipped into your head,
Oh my
at
god.
least onto your head.
Marsh like pulls it out.
You pull it out. It's a daisy,
Aww.
and
March will
you
like sort of like pin it to his scarf.
um as you do that, you hear like a from behind you, and you feel something thump onto your shoulder, and Soul has just thumped their head onto your shoulder, and you can still hear that from behind you. And if you're gonna look down from where you can hear the sound of the noise, Soul's feet are just doing like happy little taps on
Aww.
the floor.
Oh, that's so cute. Okay, first of all, that history check. Well, you definitely know of a garden in Ghibli, a magical garden that have has appeared fairly recently, like this year. But the thing is, it the same garden has been, well, essentially gone for 25 years and reappeared that like this year. So but something happened about like this garden has been there's this funky magical garden that disappeared 25 years ago but reappeared um fairly recently.
Oh my gosh, no wonder Lau couldn't hide his excitement. Are you kidding me? You can. You can roll an insight if you want, you don't have to. But yeah, Lau is. Okay, you shall roll. Let's see.
Listen, if you say you can, I'm gonna do it.
Okay,
This
with a
is a
12,
D&D
yeah.
game. We roll dice here.
Roll for stuff. Yeah, it's pretty dang obvious. You can tell Lau's not just excited because there's plants, he's excited because there are plants that have been gone for over 20 to 25 years, and he's just like, oh, there's stuff here that might not be anywhere else. I get to go and get to look at some of this stuff. I may even get to take some of this stuff with me. And he is very clearly shaky, shivery, happy about this. In case his outline and his general behaviour wasn't indicative, he's very excited.
Goodness. March is just I think March is gonna say this out loud. Just, mental note. Let a Roman know she's gonna have visitors soon.
You just hear a quiet little come from Lau as he wheels away to the side of the building. I mean, we've been going for quite a bit, so
Yeah.
I'm not going to take you through to Lau's apartment because that's going to be a whole damn thing to describe. So instead, I'm gonna say he wheels over to the he's gonna wheel over to the fire exit, and he's going to. What are you gonna do, buddy? Actually, no, he's not gonna do it. He's gonna whistle for Soul. Who's gonna perk up from their position on your shoulder, come up from behind you, squeeze around you, and just trot over to the door. And I'm going to roll strength. 19. Soul not only opens this door, Soul opens this door so hard that it kind of leaves a big indent in the side of the building from where it's opened, and
Oh
now
my
it's
god.
kind of sunk in by about 3 centimeters, roughly, into the brickwork.
Oh my
So
goodness.
brick is no longer necessary. And Sol looks back at you, and Lao looks back at you, and Lao claps his hands twice and says, "Well, March script, it's been a pleasure to have you for however long we've been here. I actually don't know how long we've been here." He says, just puts his head in his hand very quickly before shaking his head, lifting up again, says, "Obviously, I know I not to repeat myself, but I just want to emphasize, you are free to come up here and take what you'd like when you'd like. You don't have to speak to me. You don't have to speak to Sol. You may take as you like. Please, please feel free to do so. If you want to come and say, I don't know, talk about any plant-related issues that might come up for you, or if you just want to say hello, or if you find that Sol has been causing mischief, and side-eyes Sol, who is just standing there, looks back at you and says, "Well, if you or if you just wanted to stay and well, say hello. I'm just down there." And he points down to the side of where the lift is. "Just take that down, follow it through. I'll be in there most likely. If I'm not, you can." Well, I mean, you can stay or you can go, it's up to you. But either way, he claps his hands and gestures once again down to the staircase and says, "Obviously, feel free to take your leave. And, it's been wonderful having you, March. And I'd like to get to know you a bit more in the future, if you're amenable to it." And he smiles. And,
God. Okay, so that was a absolutely garbage performance role. March was trying to impress them, but I think March should sort of like steps on his scarf and just like stumbles a bit and is like, okay, not doing that. But he
oh, okay,
uh
hang on.
he like
Something.
tries to do something dramatic, but he like step on his scarf and is like pinwheel arms now.
Okay. the minute the minute Lao sees you try to do something and sees you stumble, he immediately kind of wheels himself over. But he rolled a dex save to try and catch you, and with an 8, I think he just kind of gets in your way.
Yeah,
He's just
I
like,
think
oh goodness, no, let me just, and he just kind of, he catches one of your arms, and that kind of jerks your balance a little more, and he's like, oh goodness, no, 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 and I've got to make another one for Sol, because
my
Sol is watching
God.
this, and yeah, I just gonna very calmly come over, and let's see, can you save this, Sol? I think I know what the answer is going to be. No!
Oh
No!
goodness.
No, you do not! What Sol tries to do, Sol calmly walks over and tries to just steady you both with their two rooty hands. But what they don't think about is that in order to use both of their rooty hands, they have to go onto their hind legs, which they don't do very often. And as they stand up onto their hind legs, they are now a very tall, towering flower above you, and they're also very heavy. And they're resting one hand on each of your shoulders, and they shake a little bit as they stand up and try to, not fall over. And
We all fall over.
we all fall down. Sol thumps onto the floor, and that drags March onto Sol. And I've got to roll. No, I'm not gonna roll. Peck it. You keep your 8, son. Lao just kind of flops out of his chair onto Sol face first, and he's like, he does so.
Goody. Okay. I think after like all the after like March extracts himself out of from under Saul, March is just that wasn't so good. Sorry for that. But and for this I actually rolled my physical dice because he was fuck. And yeah, what March is gonna do because he is an actor and he is a little bit dramatic. He's going to hop off the side of the building, and that was a 28 for athletics.
Damn! You're gonna jump off the side for drama? Holy peck!
He just like it's like, well, it's been nice meeting you. Though I do prefer the rooftops more, and he will just hop off.
Wow! As you do, you're gonna hear you're gonna hear a distressed scream of "What the hell are you doing? No, 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 no!" And he's gonna wheel himself. He's gonna try and hurriedly right himself to the side. And by the time they've both kind of gotten themselves up and over to the side, you're gone.
There's like March does like a couple of flips, and then he like just continues just like running and like waving, and he just like waves to Lao, just like waves him goodbye.
Just imagine you doing the Naruto run across the rooftops.
Well, maybe not the Naruto run, but just like hop, 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 and off he goes. He's very speedy. He has a 40. He has a movement speed of 40.
Lau's gonna look over and he's gonna see that Marge is completely fine, and he's just gonna, oh goodness gracious me, and he's just gonna tiredly wave a hand back, tilt his head back, and just put a hand over his beak and close his eyes like, goodness gracious me, that they've really got to stop doing this to me. Why do they keep doing this to me? It's enough when I get it from you. And he just opens one eye and glares at Sol, who is halfway leaning over the side of the brick wall of this building and is frantically waving their Uti arm back at you. And Hal's gonna sigh and roll away from the side and tap Sol twice on the back and say, "Come along, you. I've got to clean up your mess and actually feed the plants, and then we have to probably call Carmenia to see if we can get some more mulch, because apparently you can't keep out of it, and I need to give you your treat as well." And he's gonna make his way back to the greenhouse, and Sol is, with one last little look towards where March is running off, gonna push himself back from the edge of the building, turn around and follow him on. And I guess that's where we can stop it.
Hell yeah, yeah. That was real fun.
That was incredibly fun. Thank you for letting me talk at you for like a solid 5 minutes for descriptions.
Love that. I want y'all to know, while the game was the FPS was happening, I DM'd JJ saying, "I think March befriended Lao in record time," and then JJ is just like, "Oh my god, how?"
By merits of being a plant, son.
Via being a plant, March has gone world record and befriending this bird.
Pretty much. Look, the first time this isn't the first time this has happened. In his first ever game, the Willoughby Hall game run by Liz, it's very fun. Liz did a great job. You should listen. Lao, this is not the first time Lao has met a plant person, and I think they actually did better in restraining themselves than they did last time. So yeah, be a plant if you want to be his friend, guys. Yeah, I think this would be a good place to cut it.
Yeah, thank you for listening, everybody. Thank you for listening, my audience. Our audience. Thank you for listening, anybody in the listening to the recording, yes. And I will see y'all next time.
We shall see you around. Thank you for listening. You've all been wonderful, both gallery and later listeners. Farewell. Adieu. I will see you around. Goodbye.
Bye, everybody. Bye.